and welcome to the Bob Stoops app. I'm Brad McMullen along with Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops talking about all the big sports headlines right now. And if you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan, you got to be really, really happy with not only the softball team, but that baseball team that's literally a win away from the College World Series final.
Yeah, they're so hot. It's been so fun to watch. Coach Skip Johnson, his staff have done just an amazing job. And the players are playing so well. The great pitching, the defense, out there just playing so well. And the bats. I mean, up and down the order, everybody's hitting, getting on base, getting the big hits, home runs at the right time with guys on base. So I just wish them the best of luck just keep this momentum going. They're in a great spot.
Yeah, you talk about defense. 3 times in a 2-day time period, Oklahoma had 3 plays make the Sports Center top 10 on defense. That's pretty amazing.
Just fielding the ball so well, and everything about it. They've just been very solid all the way around. Like I said, pitching, defense, bats everywhere. It's been really fun to watch, and I just wish them the best of luck finishing out, and no reason they won't continue to keep this momentum.
Yeah, knock on wood. Of course, the Sooners trying to become the first program ever to win a college softball championship and baseball championship in the same year. It's time.
It is, and oddly, I was leaving the football facility the other day and ran into Patty Gasso with one of her transfer recruits that was in, and her family, her parents, and got a chance just to congratulate Patty, see her, give her a hug, and just awesome the job she has done and her staff. And it was fun just to meet her recruit and take a few pictures with them. And she's just an amazing, she's a superstar. So they're so much fun to watch as well. So anyway, it'd be great to be able to do it in softball and baseball.
And if you're a parent, who wouldn't want their child playing for Patty Gasso? I mean, just first class.
And you talk about all the other sports, women's gymnastics winning the national championship. Golf did so well, again, Big 12 champs, and on and on. I was, Coach Spurrier called me the other day, and he has a podcast he gets on every Friday. And he called me just to tell me that the first thing he did on the podcast was, I know everyone talks about all the Florida programs. He goes, I was bragging on OU from women's gymnastics all the way through the year, and the great, just spring that we've had here at OU. And so he was down there in Gainesville pubbing us up a little bit.
Amen, amen. And one thing I will say this, when you look at all the programs this year, we don't just beat Texas in football. So we take time to beat them about everything else. So it's all good. All right, so one of the big headlines right now in college football is this transfer portal window. The NCAA now discussing different things. Back in 2018 was the introduction of the transfer portal, and it has truly changed the game of college football.
It really has. And I don't know, when this all started, it was for guys like a guy that graduated, say Trevor Knight. He's already graduated.
Great example.
Gets beat out by Baker Mayfield. He has an opportunity to leave and play right away somewhere else. Really good thing. I was as happy as anybody for Trevor Knight, because he's such a wonderful person and young man for him to have that opportunity. So happy. But now with people just doing it for whatever reasons, I'm not sure it's always the healthiest. I don't know that it's always the best. I'm sure it's not. There's a lot of guys who go into transfer portal and don't have anywhere to go and end up left out. Mm-hmm. No one ever talks about those guys. And truth be told, there's a pretty good number of those guys. So not all of it's the best. I do believe the whatever bodies there may be, governing bodies, need to get some parameters around it. And maybe this is the first step in getting some guidelines and some parameters and some rails around this, so that you know what kind of roster you're going to have from year to year and who you need to recruit. Fans know who to cheer for, who's going to be on their team next year. Anyway, hopefully they can get some guardrails around it.
Yeah, it's interesting more and more, and you talk about different sports where you're seeing not only starters from a program, but sometimes captains from a program or all conference selections from a program transferring to another program. It's not the person that's been overlooked. It's sometimes, in a sense, the best player on their team.
Well, and what happens now to the best player in the Mid-America League? in the MAC. Wants to go now the MAC or some of these smaller divisions, group of 5 schools are nothing but a mini camp or a mini league to go up to a higher level, to go up to 1A or to the Power 5 schools. Is that fair to them? The guys have trained them and worked with them for 4 years, and they spend their 5th year going to whatever, OU or wherever else. So anyway, I don't know that it's the healthiest thing for college football, but we're got to keep working it and keep navigating it.
And it's also changed recruiting in general. Being that my son Austin, a 7th grade football player, we were at a invite-only camp in Dallas, and they're telling the parents, you're not just competing with other quarterbacks at your age level, you're competing with quarterbacks that are already playing college football at different levels on who they're deciding to invite to their campus.
Yeah, again, it's rather than getting a high school guy, say, to come to OU, I'm going to take the junior at Bowling Green, who's the best player in the league and's played for 2 years. We're going to take him, which cuts out then an incoming freshman. So yeah, it's a different dynamic that everybody has to continue to navigate. And again, hopefully the governing bodies, the presidents, the ADs can find a way to get some kind of parameters around it.
And it's also, when you think about how players develop, there are probably times when you're recruiting, you say, hey, since we're taking this many high school kids because the transfer portal didn't exist, maybe 3 or 4 of these kids are the back end of my recruiting class that turned out to be All-Americans at OU and developed on top of the world. But if you had had the transfer portal, maybe that player would have never come to OU.
No, it's very true. Yeah, there's all kind of dynamics to this, no question. Maybe the 2, 3, 4 last guys you took in each class, which many of them ended up All-Americans, all of a sudden don't have that opportunity, and because you took a transfer guy. And anyway, it's just hard to know what it's going to look like a few, 3, 4, 5 years from now and how it all plays out.
All right, we're almost heading into July. That means media days are coming up. One of the big games that people are talking about right now, and we're mentioning the transfer portal because Nebraska has ranked in the top 5 in most of these different categories for bringing in new people via the transfer portal. How excited are you to watch OU Nebraska in Lincoln?
Oh, I can't wait. I'm hoping I can be there. Just never know. But one of the great rivalries of all time. I was a young person in Ohio, in Youngstown, Ohio, and couldn't wait to watch OU Nebraska. Usually Thanksgiving Day. One of the only games on TV that day, and just great history, national championships, both teams, there's so many of them, great coaches, great history, great players. So it'll be exciting to go there again and play and compete with them.
And 2 teams very similar last year, battling teams where you had 5 or 6 games that were all within 1 possession. Nebraska lost those games, Oklahoma won those games. This is going to be a pretty good battle.
It sure was a year ago.
Yeah.
It was a heck of a game, a 1-touchdown game. And I'm with you. I thought Nebraska really played well in a lot of games last year. Ended up hurting herself a little too much with turnovers.
Killed them.
A few mistakes, that just will cost you those games, and they made them. Whether it be offense, defense, penalties and turnovers at the worst times and really ruin their season. Otherwise, they're on the other side of a lot of those 1-score games.
Yeah, and they were competitive against Ohio State,
Sure.
Oklahoma, Michigan. they were right in those ball games, but again, the turnover bug just really killed them.
No kidding. And inopportune penalties, just at the total wrong time. Just and many of them are non-playing. There's not action going on when the penalty occurs. That they can, they eliminate those and they're in a whole different, position.
Can't wait for college football, about 2 months away from all the big games. Well, for Coach Bob Stoops, I'm Brad McMullen. Remember, for videos anytime, just tap on our video link 24/7.